Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. It's Monday, it's June 19th. This will be our chart lesson, and a nice trend day today. These kind of days can be very confusing. Normally, when they start like this right here, they kind of continue to go on like that the rest of the day. In this case, we got a little bit of correction and we continue to go upwards, but it's also has a sideways slant to it. Um, I wouldn't be taking any shorts off of this though, because when you see, I got a couple of emails on this too. When you see a lot of little bars like this that just keep going higher and higher, and lots of little dojis in there, that's a strong trend. It doesn't look like it, especially today when it doesn't stay above the EMA. From really this point forward, we were swinging back and forth, so that's more of a sideways. But if you drew this trend line off these first two swings at the top and drug it down, you would have been waiting on this bounce right here, and this would have been an easy one. Plus, notice the little trend channel. You get a close outside, move to a new low, bounces right where you would expect it to bounce, gives you a fairly bullish little small 3 tick bar, very low risk. That's a great setup right there. It's a little late in the day, but it's still before 2 o'clock. I'm probably going to take that if I'm trading every time. Um, this one's a little bit tempting, but we were working down here. We got to close outside a new low, and you really could treat this like a failed break lower. But I thought you were better off to wait on the lower high, which came here, and we never really got a break lower there. And we're kind of right back into what looks a lot like a little trading range working across here. So in this case, I wanted to wait on the failed second entry short, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Let me back out a little more. The main thing I want you to understand is that when you see prices continually going higher, and you'll see this to the downside some, but you see this type of these little small bars with all the dojis and all, and it just doesn't look real strong. But as you get more experience, you'll understand that is a very strong trend, and you don't get many corrections. So if you get a setup at a key entry point, you just about have to take it. And so anyway, let's talk about the trades. When I came in, we gapped open Sunday night. We had two legs up, and then we started correcting. And of course, it bounces right where you would expect it to bounce. I originally had this just a little higher off those closes. Still works right there. You never get a close outside. So, um, and then you could work this a little higher. And that actually does feel a little better just like that. So, but regardless, you get these first swings, it comes back, you draw it right here, and then you're working down, you get a close outside, and you make a new low, and it bounces right off that trend line. In this case, this is still early in the overnight, and you don't, but it comes back and gives you that confirmation. That's the third touch of the trend line of confirmation, and it actually went lower here first, and then turns and goes out the upper side. I like entering right there. I made this one green just because it's looking a little sideways there, and it's pretty close to these highs. But when it comes back a third time and fails, now you got a failed second entry short. Um, you just about have to go long there. And you're looking for a measured move. If you measure this first leg right here, you're looking for a measured move to there. And you really should probably measure from the open. That's really, even though it gapped there, that's really all one move. Actually, you would measure from the close. I'm sorry. So that's all one move right there. And so that puts your target right in here. Notice we got a little bit of selling there, but we continue to push through. That tells you it's probably a strong trend. Um, but anyway, I like that trade. That was the first blue one. And we pushed up, made just a slightly higher, and then we came back and you got a second entry long. Once again, right off that key entry point, bounces off the EMA. Fairly bullish bar. It didn't quite close on its high, but I still like that one. Looking for this measured move. Off it goes. I wouldn't enter on the first entry there. I definitely want a second entry, and the fact that it's a key entry point too is another reason I liked it. We push up. We just keep pushing higher. Every time we come back to that EMA, or I'm sorry, not EMA, that trend line, it pushes higher. And you actually get a second entry here. Notice the new high, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. It's a little bit sideways, but it's still a second entry. It's two legs. It's looking like a really strong trend. It's just right into that little double top. But if this is a strong trend day, which it's really looking like by now, if you don't take that trade, you may not get another one, at least not for a while. And you can see how well it took off right there. And then it works back. You're actually kind of going sideways here. There's still two legs back, so there's a second entry there. You might could argue for that one, but we're not back to the trend line. We're not back to the EMA. But we weren't to the high side either, but that doesn't mean anything. So it's still a little risky just going long right out there. So I thought you'd be better off if you wait on and see if it'll correct one more time and maybe get back to the trend line. And so you get a higher low right here and a much more bullish bar. So by that time, I like entering um, because you've tried to go low uh, once, twice, three times now. And this is really a double test of this level. Um, you could probably argue that this is borderline green, but if you recognize that this is a strong trend, and that's the reason I was really surprised that we only kind of went sideways after that, but you can still see it has the same makings, lots of little bars, lots of dojis in there, and it just keeps making higher highs and higher lows. It's just not nearly as strong as it was over here. So, but we finally get a correction here. We get what I call a little spike and channel going down. You get a break, move to a new low. There's also a little failed break lower. It's tempting to go long right there, but that's just another inside bar to that one. Even though it's a failed break and you might catch that major low, I still think here you're better off to wait on a higher low, and that comes here. And it didn't tick lower here, or I would have made this one blue. Then you got a little double bar matching high, and it's kind of right back into that what looks like a trading range there. If you draw the other side, you can see. So it's a little worrisome going long right there. So again, there's reasons to take it, but I think you're better off to see if you get that reversal pattern. And look, sure enough, here it comes right here. Nice entry. And then you've got a new little shorter term trend line. You get a break here, and you still don't have a new high in place yet. And so I like that one just as a little breakout pullback type. That's a breakout pullback from this trading range. Just another attempt. It couldn't get through the EMA. I like adding on right there, or jumping in if you're not out yet, or if you're already out or not in yet. So, and of course, you go and you make your new high. And I'm guessing that's probably one reason why it kind of went sideways after that, because notice we got a trend channel, a break, and two measured legs to a new high. And so you've got everything you need to reverse, but because it was a strong trend kind of day, and you see that's a perfect to the tick, two-legged move to a new high. So that's a perfect measured move right there. And so, of course, you want to draw that line across on that high. You would have drawn it here first, but when we kept going higher, you just change it. And if it went higher again, you'd have changed it again. And then once it starts coming down, you just drag that down to the last low. And so you'll be looking for it to try to bounce along that line if everything else plays out. And sure enough, this thing pulls back. You're coming down, you get a break, a move to a new low. Like I said, a fairly small bar. I think that's 3 ticks, real low risk. And that's a great move. You probably catch a runner there, and I'd look to exit right up here. When it got back up to the upper part of that channel again, sure enough, it pushes a couple of ticks higher, and then it heads lower again, and that takes you into the close. So not a lot of trades today, but several of these, you would have caught a runner here. Wouldn't have been a long-term one, but you would have had a runner here. You probably would have had one here. You definitely would have had one here. So, and I wouldn't take any shorts on a day like this. It's tempting right here. And there was a failed second entry long there. So if you did take that short, if you had enough room to get out between here and there, I'd be okay with that one. But if you recognize the type of day this is, I wouldn't be taking any shorts. So for that reason, I want to make that one green. But if you took that trade, I wouldn't have a problem with it. It does meet our criteria. But if you understand what's going on here, and you've had experience with these kind of days, generally they don't sell off this much. But I believe it's because we've met all the reversal criteria, but the market was strong, so it didn't reverse. It just kind of continued with a slightly upward bias, more of a trading range, swinging above, below, above, below, above, below. That's a trading range. When you're swinging back and forth above and below the EMA like that, that's a sure sign that you're probably in a trading range. But it does have an upward bias because the EMA is slightly up, the channel is slightly up. But yeah, if you took that one, that's borderline. You could probably argue for it to be red, but I'm gonna make it green because of the type of day. I wouldn't have taken that trade, not that late in the day. I wouldn't be trying to counter trend trade. So even though it does fit all our rules, but I'll make it green. So yeah, that's pretty much it today. Like I said, not a lot of trades. Still a pretty good trading day. You only had to catch a couple of these to make some pretty good money today. But I hope you had a good trading day. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope it was a good Monday for you. And we'll be back again to do it tomorrow. But I'm going to wrap it up for today. It's already a little late. I'm getting this up. I had to leave for a little bit this afternoon, so I'm coming back to do this. But I want to wrap it up and get it in and get it uploaded. So that's it for today. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.